I feel a little bit relieved from all the stresses of journalism. Um, Today is the 11th of February 2025. It's been 3 days now that I retired, and I never want to be a journalist in my life again, even when I die and I come back. It's a profession I loved, but the moment I entered my own country, I expected a lot of love, but I got a lot of hate. I will continue to tell some stories that I feel is historical and needs to be known because, as they say, journalism is a rough draft of history. This thing about you're always a journalist, you can never leave, that's not true. I'm no longer a journalist. There will be no news or information or opinions from me anymore. What I'm going to be doing is documenting some of the things I did so I can write a nice ebook. I can reflect on the rest of my generation. I don't have any grandkids, but when I have grandkids, if I'm not here, or great grandkids, I would like them to know who Dr. Kemi was. On this particular video, I want to talk about HIV. CVS Pharmacy is the largest drugstore in America, and it became a huge conglomerate when everybody else sold out. I was one of their star pharmacists, and when I say star, I was given a grant by the company in the 90s to do programs for HIV positive African Americans in an area called Govans, Baltimore, Maryland. A lot of men had HIV. Many of my patients have died. Some have become elderly. But many had HIV. And it was over this whole needle and heroin addiction. They shared a lot of needles and they contracted the disease. There are a lot of questions about HIV today because of President Trump's pause on USAID and PEPFAR. PEPFAR was actually reinstated for a temporary 75 days. Many Nigerians shocked me because they said they had no idea that Nigeria was receiving $65 million yearly for HIV programs. Yeah, we've been receiving it since President Bush started PEPFAR. I sincerely have to tell you that in 2015, I watched, and I monitored that $65 million for the year 2015 during the Jonathan administration. That money was looted. They spent maybe $20 million on the HIV programs, and the rest, $45 million, was spent by governors, federal people, and that's just the way it was. We have an issue with funding health programs in Africa. And I think the tip of the iceberg just happened with President Trump. No one has ever gone into these kind of issues. You're talking about people who work for USAID who are going to lose their jobs because the president wants them gone and he wants to buy out their contracts. As nasty as that could sound, there's a bigger problem. Okay? If you're stealing money, the people giving you the money know you're stealing the money, and they too are probably stealing part of it. This is what Trump is trying to say. Okay, if I give Nigeria 65 million, I give Ghana 65 million. What if I'm supposed to actually give them 80 million and I just took my own 15 out? There's a lot going on you don't know. So nobody wants HIV programs to be cut. But if you remember how bad that disease was when Mr. Nelson Mandela was president of South Africa. Today, February 2025, the numbers are up. Ghana is number one. Look at what the Nigerian girls are doing in Ghana. They've taken over the whole prostitution arena. Many Ghanaian young men have HIV. They come to me when I visit there. I have a lot of Ghanaian fans, by the way. They message me privately. They ask me if weed and pineapple helps. There's just kind of combinations and stuff. And I just tell them, your viral load is not going to go down with weed and eating pineapple. You have to see a doctor. You have to get medicines. You got to do that. At the end of the day, what I'm saying right now is that the governments of countries like Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa need to wake up. President Tinubu of Nigeria put out 4.5 billion naira for HIV programs when he noticed that Trump had cut it. So we have the money, even though it's temporarily reinstated. NGOs were lined up in my DM on Instagram, and I don't use Instagram again. They were just in there. That's when they remembered me. Please, we want your voice, we want you to support. I said, you don't have my voice. I was straight up blunt. Nobody has my voice. I was in Nigeria for 12 years. I worked as a journalist with my own funds. I wanted a job in the healthcare sector. I applied for different places. None of you guys hired me because I was a mad woman, remember? So now you want to save your funding, you're coming out to beg me. No, you don't need my voice. If you had hired me, I would have given you education. Even one of the PEPFAR employees admitted that, yeah, PEPFAR was poor when it came to education. The Nigerian girls are roaming the streets. They're doing hookups. They're in the hotels. They're everywhere. And they're in Ghana. Talk less other countries. They're spreading this disease. Remember when I told the Lagos state government that HIV had skyrocketed in Lekki? They started following me on X. They started noticing what I was saying. Today, X is silent. I don't use it anymore. I'm done. I'm retired. Instagram is silent. TikTok is gone. I don't use any of these platforms anymore because I'm not used to socializing. I don't have friends. I don't make friends. If I made friends, I would have come back to social media and just converted my pages to personal pages. Facebook is open. X is open, but there's no posts. They're just open for my archives. That's all. Talk to your children about HIV, especially if you have young men. Wear condoms. It's that easy. Wear condoms. And if you're a girl that having sex with a man that's questionable, make that man wear a condom. Because today, the person having sex with you has probably had sex with a prostitute outside or someone doing a hookup. This hookup thing is a big thing now in Africa. The money coming out to governments are being shared and looted. And I'm ready to go on a international media tour to speak about these things as a retired journalist. Mr. Trump is doing the right thing. President Trump is looking for money. Money stolen. Money passed around to the wrong people. Money wasted. The U.S. government is trying to take away the waste. Why is America funding the world? Have you not seen something wrong there? Look at what's going on. When are we going to start funding ourselves? Activists get locked up. Journalists like me fled the country. They locked me up 3 times. They tried to assassinate me 3 times. We gotta stop and start to be independent. It's nice to see all of you again, Dr. Kemi.